Hello, everyone. I'm Won Seok from Mogan University. I will introduce you a research which is conducted by Kim Tae-yeon and Won Seok. The title of the research is Research Trends on Game Use and Family Variables in Children and Adolescents. The table of contents is the first research questions, and second one is a research method, and third one is a results, and first is conclusion. Okay, the game used by children and adolescents, this is the whole situation of the game uses by children and adolescents. The game use and addiction of children and adolescents who lack self-regulation skills are emerging as the social problems. Yeah, so it is very important problems of the among the child and adolescents, because it is continuously increasing the numbers of the children and adolescents who is playing games. And the first experience of the child's and children's gameplay age is lower by year has been going. Factors affecting game uses can be presented by 5 factors. The first factor is personal disposition, and this is including information about content reference and gameplay ability and personal characters. And the second factor is friendship. And these factors including the characters of a peer group and friends to play with. And third factors is including this element, the nurturing attitude, the interest in games and attachment and control supervisions. And fourth factors, school environment includes teacher's attitude, study time, and accessibility to computer. And the last factor is the socio-cultural background. And this factor includes social attitude toward the game. Let's see the game use and environment. And this content is closely related to the situations. The ecosystem theory, which is presented by the Bron van Brenner, and keyword of this theory is the person in situation. So this means that the human is not a separate being from the environment, but an open system that interact with the social and physical environment. So our children can be closely related to these elements, the school and kindergarten and family and hospital. And this is this kind of element can be constructed middle system and go further, then external system can be related to the neighborhood and the family and some kind of other establishment or other institutions. Okay, and let's see the game use and family. The family is related to the earliest age in the growth and the development of the children and adolescents, and it is the most influential factor. And this is a very important factors because most of child needs to their family and especially their parents. So we conducted a research trend analysis as looking into the recent research trend on a topic can make it possible to read the flow and the changes from precedent researches, and it is a very important basic task for conducting researches. Scholars can present the different arguments or viewpoints on a single topics, so collecting and comprehensively analyzing the result of these individual precedent studies are not simply summation work of the existing studies, but can elicit a rather more definitive conclusions or suggest new possibilities of interpretations. And the major reason to why we conducted this research trend analysis is that this study summarized the trends of precedent studies related to the relationship with game use and family variables, which are major factors influencing game use of children and adolescents. This study aims to provide data for follow-up studies related to facilitate game use. So the researchers deals with these research questions in this study. So what are the research trends on game use and family variables of the teacher of children and adolescents? We analyze these topics following 7 research questions. The first one is according to period, and second one is according to variables, and third one is according to research type, and fourth is according to data collecting method, and fifth is the according to analysis method, and sixth is the according to object, and last one is according to academic fields. We will analyze the precedent study data based on these 7 factors. This is the research method. The first stage is keyword search in RIS. So we were selected these 6 keywords: child, adolescents, and teenager, game, and family, parents. And we tried to find these study papers, academic study papers, through the list by using these 6 keywords. And the published research paper and the period of these study papers is from 2000 to the 2020, and totally 58 studies were selected and analysis in this study. Okay, I will present the result of this study. The first result is the published period distributions. We tried to collect precedent studies which is dealing with the game use by the child and adolescents through the from 2000 to 2020, and the numbers of studies will be steadily increasing by the year by year. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, and the highest number of the studies conducted in 2019 is the 12 studies were published in this topic. The second result is the classifying by the variables design, and many variables were related to this topic. The first one is the game use and family conflict, and number of studies which dealing with this variables is 2. And, and 36 studies deal with the topic malfunction in family relationships and game uses. 4 studies were related to the game use and family relationships. Last 15 studies were conducted by the topic of family intervention and or controls and game use. And we classified these collected studies by the variable design. And family variables in researches can be classified by 4 main factors. The first factor is communication between parents and children. And second factor was the parental supervision control and parenting attitude. And third factor was the family function and family support. And last factor was the attachment between parents and children. Also, we analyzed these precedence studies by the research type and data collecting methods. And we can categorize the result by the 3 sections. The first section was the quantitative research method, and most of the studies which adopted the quantitative research method was the 55 studies. And second, the qualitative research method and studies, the number of studies which adopted this qualitative research method was 1. And last one is the literature review, and only 1 studies conducted through the literature review. And let's see the data analysis. Let's see how many studies contributed by the data analysis method. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 analysis methods were adopted by these collected researches. And first one is a t-test, and number of the t-test was 1. And number of studies which adopted ANOVA method was 6. And chi-square was 1. And correlation analysis was 3. And the number of studies which was conducted by regression analysis was 31, and there was no studies which adopted factor analysis. And structure equitation was 11, and decision tree was 2, and qualitative research was 2, and last literature review was 1. Let's see the proportion of the studies which is classified by the research objects. The proportion of the studies which deals with the children was 3%, and elementary was 29%, and middle school and studies which set their research object as middle school was 39%, and last one, the high school was 29%. Ratio of the studies classified by the academic field, the 28% was the children and adolescent field, and 5% from family, and 70% was counseling, treatment, and health and medical and nursing, and 22% is from 22% from education and psychology field, and 90% from computer and game field, and last 9%, 다시 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 19% from the computer and game field, and last 9% from etc. field. So summing up these analysis data, I can present these conclusions. The first conclusion was the game use and family variables of children and adolescents have been a sustained topic since the late 2000s. And the studies have been interested in the malfunctions of the family and the abnormal game use of the children and adolescents, but it steadily changed. So recently, attempts to properly control the game use by using diverse family variables positively are increasing. And as most researchers were conducted through quantitative research method survey, which was survey, and data from researches were analyzed through the regression analysis or structural question model. So the new approaches derived from various research methods can be adopted later. And last conclusion is, since the researches have been conducted from different perspectives in various academic fields, such as child studies, adolescent studies, family studies, education, psychology, counseling, and healthcare, nurse and computers, science, and game studies, it is necessary to conduct integrated researches through the interdisciplinary convergence research methods. From this perspective, it is necessary to look at the relationship between children's and adolescents' game use and family variables. Okay, this is the presentations which we conducted as the topic of the game use and family variables by the child and adolescents. Thank you for listening.